Welcome back to the channel. I'm slipping a little bit on the releases of the videos, but I've still been putting them out daily. Just so much going on. So today we're going to be talking about a product that's gone on the website. Some people have already, well, say some people, a lot of you have already pre-ordered it. I hadn't really even spoke about it. I have uploaded a lot of products to the website and I've never spoke about them, which goes against really, in terms of marketing, it's a bad way to do it, but if you guys want it, you'll find it. But we're going to talk about suppressors today. Just as an example, here is the suppressor off my SIG MCX Spear LT. Very, very nice suppressor. And this goes back to a time where I ordered what was labelled as a fat suppressor. So I was like, oh, I want a fat suppressor. I want something really nice and chunky. So it was labelled up as a fat 50, I think it said fat 54. So fat 54 carbon suppressor. It was really short. And I was like, oh, that could be cool for a project or something. So I ordered it. What turned up in the post, however, was this. This is something from Lilacs. And what they didn't say, I mean, this goes to a really bad product description or lack of product description on Fire Support's website. Fat 54mm suppressor to me means it's a fat 54mm suppressor. No, the fat stands for absolutely bugger all by the sounds of it, and 54mm is the length. And in the picture it did look nice and chunky, but this is what I got. And you know, you guys know I've been working on a suppressor. This kind of egged me on to just make something that I wanted. I really chunky suppressor, and I'm pretty sure I've maybe shown my suppressor on the channel before, or at least I did show the prototype, which is this one here. This is the Jaeger Precision Shut the F Up suppressor. This is the prototype. This cost me about £400 to make. In terms of prototyping, it's very, very nice indeed. You know, it's big, chunky, 50mm outer diameter suppressor, which is what I wanted, a nice chunky can, something that's not puny, like that 5KU suppressor for the MP5. I mean, just look at it in comparison. You can see how much fatter it is. And I've always liked big chunky suppressors, so I decided to do my own. This one does have, you know, some very nice machining. One thing I do want to say to you guys, because, you know, just in case you're wondering, this is all made from billet. So it's 7075 aluminium, made from billet. And what that means is these are produced in a way, this is an over-the-top suppressor. It's not a cheap suppressor. We'll get to pricing and stuff later on in the video, but this is basically, we take a solid chunk of aluminium and everything, the outside, the threads, even the bore is machined. So we're not going and buying, you know, cheap tubing from a certain supplier. We're working with billet here, so it's a solid block of aluminium, which we then bore out and everything to our specification. This makes it incredibly strong. It's not the lightest weight suppressor when you compare it to like carbon suppressors, but everybody's doing carbon suppressors now. And I just wanted a really high quality billet CNC suppressor in 7075 that then I could go and shove my foam in, which I've spoke to you guys before. If you haven't watched the suppressor video series, go and give it a watch. So these will be coming. This one's empty because this is the prototype one. It looks very, very nice and shiny. But they'll be coming filled with foam. Now, I have one here that is a production version of that suppressor. You can see it's black in colour. It's the same dimensions. It's literally the same thing as this, just it doesn't cost £400. Nice chunky inside. Apologies to headphone users here. When you blast these and anodize them, it does add a slight bit of, you know, roughness to the surface, and it's just to dull down the finish, because obviously this being just raw, there's none of that rough surface because this is as it came off the machines. So with the suppressor, the STFU suppressor, you're getting the Lakibu foam. which is the new Lakibu foam, which is the best material I've found for making suppressor material. Now, the reason why these suppressors have taken so much time, because machining these does take time. It's a very expensive endeavor. These aren't cheap. That's what I'm saying to you guys. If you're looking for something cheap, this is not the thing for you. If you're looking for something absolutely rock solid, you know, I think the cylinder wall thickness is like 3.3 mil or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I'm going off a 3.3 or 3.5. I can't quite remember. It's a chunky boy. So it's going to come, I know I'm waffling now, and some of you guys seem to like that, but it's going to come pre-filled with that suppressor Lakibu foam. There are a couple of changes that I made to the design. You'll see the exit hole on this one is very, very small. So it was about 7 mil, I think, or just over. And basically what you want to do to make it as quiet as possible, you want to make the exit as narrow as possible to let the BB through, but to limit the amount of, you know, air coming out the end of the barrel. The problem with this is, as nice as this is machined, it's made to a very high standard and a very high quality. If you're fitting this onto subpar barrels, so anything, there's a lot of replicas out there that don't have true machine barrels. So either the barrel's off or the threading's off. What that means is you put your suppressor on the barrel, and as you get to the last bit of the threads, it just kinks the suppressor in one direction slightly. Now you won't perceive it necessarily, but that's when you get, like, obviously suppressor strikes. The bore axis is off center to the bore exit of the suppressor. So on the production version, what I did is we enlarged this. This is about 10 mil, so it's still short because I didn't want to go too big, but you got a 10 mil exit. Now, if you're using this on something where you know the barrel's good, maybe using like an MTW or whatever, or you want to take the time to shim the suppressor to make it as true to the center bore of the barrel as possible, you've got this little cavity in the end of the suppressor. And what this basically does, the suppressor is going to come with different baffle ends. So it's just a 3D printed piece of plastic, and there's different bore sizes that go down from 10 mil all the way down to 7 mil if you're feeling, you know, feisty and you're chasing perfection. So those will come in the kit, and you'll literally just, it'll say a number on them, what they are, and you'll just push it in, snap it into place. If you want to change it, there's some little cutouts on the I don't know what I'm calling it, basically the part, there's some little cutouts where you can just get a little tool in and flip it up if you want to change it. This is also a perfect space to add a suppressor wipe, or, you know, a lot of airsofters call them fart flaps, but it's a wipe. You know, people tend to take them on the end of the suppressors here, and the problem with that I see, you've got like the adhesive side down towards the BB. So changing this out and giving you this little recess here, you can use scapper tape, you can use stickers, whatever you want to do. You can put your own suppressor wipes or fart flaps in here, and it keeps the adhesive side towards the exit. So as the BB comes through the fart flap or suppressor wipe, it's not going to rub on that adhesive basically. And you know, you can use something like that and it's out the way and it doesn't sit on the outside of the suppressor. And just to give you an idea of the size of this, I mean, this one might not go in. You know, you can almost fit the SIG suppressor inside it. It is an absolute chunky boy. I mean, what suppressor is this? I think this is a Silverback Mark 23 suppressor, which, you know, predominantly has always been a chunky suppressor. We ain't messing around with this one, boys and girls. This is big chungus. And you can see some little design cues that I used from the Mark 23 suppressor from Silverback. Everything's like scaled up, obviously. I went with a slightly different pattern on the back, but it's very similar just because I like this design. I like the way that this sits, that it steps down on, you know, the back of the suppressor, so you can fit it into, you know, rails and such. You can do that on this, but it's not really designed to do that. So I have managed to fit this on one of my rails that I've got here, where this just sits just inside the rail, and then it opens up, and I really do like that look, so that's what I went for. And then, of course, made it super, super big. So Mark 23 suppressors from Silverback are normally renowned for being chunky suppressors, and yeah, big chungus here you are. Now I know Silverback have done a new suppressor for their Micron, which I think is really short and really, really bulky. So yeah, that's where we're at. This is all done. The packaging, I was waiting on samples for. There's nothing, spectacular here. It's going to be inside one of these protective boxes, which is literally just for transport and shipping. Which, you could do this very much cheaper, but I think this is just the best way. It's going to give you plenty of protection getting it to you. I'm going minimalistic on the packaging just to keep the cost down, because the cost is quite expensive on these suppressors. Bear in mind, you're not just paying what they're listed up for just the tube. You're getting a really nicely made suppressor, made to a high standard. It's billet CNC out of 7075 T6. It's hard anodized. It's almost like a satin more than a matte black, but we will be doing some Cerakote versions as well. And that in itself, to me, has a lot of value, but you can't just think of it as that, because the suppressor foam is obviously what's good as well. Now, if in the past when we've sold suppressor foam for something like this, you'd be looking at £30 to £40 for like a special commission of suppressor foam or whatever. But yeah, I think this was about £40 when I bought it. So this was 40. The STFU suppressor from Jaeger Precision, which, just look at the difference here. This is going to retail for $99.99. However, if you jump on the pre-order on the Jaeger Precision website, you can get these, I think, is it 10% off or something like that? So it's basically 10%. Am I doing my maths right there? So you can get it $89.99. Now, once these are ready and they start shipping and it goes into the website as an in-stock item, the price will increase, and I'm pretty sure it's going to stay there. So I'm hoping this is basically just a video to show you guys why the suppressor is that price. Yes, there's cheaper alternatives on the market. All this stuff is made locally here in the UK. This isn't, outsourced to, cheap companies abroad. This is a very, very nice product, and I've took my time with it. I've took my time getting the suppressor foam right, and I'm probably repeating myself here. I do apologise, but now you can get one. So the machining's done. They're back from anodizing. The packaging's here, ready to go. The foam, I'm just waiting for a new batch of foam to turn up, because I've got a lot of baffles to make for these things. So that's, I think, turning up tomorrow. And if that does, then it's just a case of cutting all the foam out, putting them in. I was thinking about doing a like a tamp. So these will come pre-fitted out the box, ready to go. But if you did want to chop and change out the inserts and make different sort of internal structures with the baffles that you get with it, the best way to describe this is when you're doing suppressor foam like this, what you'll do is you'll place the ring of foam in, and then you have something like in suppressors before, like thinner ones. I've used something like this. The Mark 23 one might be a better example. So what you do is you put the ring in, and then you basically take this down, and you let the tamp, under its own weight, just press the foam evenly all the way down to the bottom. And you want something that's very close to the bore size of this. So I was thinking about like doing something like that in the kit, but I don't think you're really going to need it. If people want it, then I might upload it as like a free 3D file if that's something that you guys want. I'm going to stop waffling now. I hope everyone enjoys their weekend. Let me know in the comments below if you're out playing this weekend, where you're playing, and let me know your thoughts on this. Again, not everyone's going to like it, but it's just one of those things. I don't think I mentioned it comes to 40mm negative on the thread. We will look at doing other threads, like 16mm and 24 for the Silverback series of rifles. If it's wanted, you have to let me know if it's wanted. And of course, like I said before, we'll be doing some Cerakote versions, so we'll be taking some of these out of stock, completely stripping them down, and doing them in Cerakote colours. So I think we'll do some in like Cerakote Graphite Black, FDE, we might do some OD green ones, maybe grey as well, not too sure just yet. I don't want to go silly with it because this is a low quantity, limited run. Not saying that I won't do it again, of course, but we're limited it to 100 units, and that's as much as it's going to be for this first batch, which is going quick on the pre-order, even though I haven't mentioned anything. So thanks for tuning into this video. Let me know what you think, as always. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. This is probably going to get flagged and demonetized by YouTube for talking about what we're talking about. And yeah, thanks for your support as always. I didn't even notice until not long ago we'd hit over 15,000 subscribers, so thank you very much. Lots of interesting stuff coming. I just need to get time on the bench to film it. Check out the links in the description below if you'd be so kind. I'm not going to post the website in the description because YouTube doesn't like it, but it's very easy to find. Just search Jaeger Precision on Google and you should be finding it pretty damn quick. So from me, Bench, and the STFU suppressor, we'll see you in the next one.